Hey there. Oh, you probably can't hear me. Let me see. Hold on a second. Because I can't. All right. Now you probably can hear me better. Hey there, everyone. Can I get 5 minutes of your time for a little 5-minute activation? Great. Hold on. Let me get settled. Hey, Maddie. Good to see you. Miss you, lady. And I'll be in Chicago next week. So make sure we connect. And today's topic is about mistakes and setbacks. Now, my business owners on the line really know what I'm talking about. But we also have mistakes and setbacks in our personal life too that can kind of shake us up. Now, I bring this topic up for two reasons. One, I made a mistake yesterday in my personal life it didn't cost me any money. It really only cost me time, but it did cost me a little mental fatigue. I was like, what? I can't believe I did that. I usually don't do things like that. I was really shocked and a little down on myself about the mistake that I made. But also a good friend of mine mentioned a similar thing that happened to her. She's really good at what she does. She usually is very busy and productive. Her company is growing and she is usually really good with her schedule. But she forgot something. And so we were talking. Usually we end up talking exactly at the right time when we need to feed each other a little information, a little activation, and sometimes even some motivation. But we were talking and she said, I was a little down because I forgot something. And it kind of hit me because I was so used to being good at what I do that when I dropped the ball, it hit me hard. And so I want to ask you, how do you handle mistakes and setbacks? So you make a bad decision, or you do the wrong thing at the wrong time, or something just doesn't pan out exactly the way you thought it would. How do you handle that? What is your way of handling that? Do you get down and stop moving and kind of curse yourself out? Or are you gentle with yourself? Do you say like, hey, Kanae, no worries. You're usually really good at this. One mistake isn't going to change your reputation. Go ahead and pick up the pieces, get back at it, and adjust. One of the things I did after making that mistake, I kind of said, well, maybe this was something to get my attention. And it really did. It got my attention. So maybe that's what you could do for yourself. Be gentle with yourself and then kind of shift your perspective and say, well, where do I need to focus? What do I need to pay attention to right now? What is it that I should be focused on? What did this situation bring up for me? And then also another thing is I also figured that maybe there was something that was supposed to happen that wouldn't have happened if I didn't make this mistake. So if I didn't make the mistake, I would go on about my schedule, my day, doing things exactly the way it was on my schedule. But because I made this mistake, I had to adjust my schedule. And like I said, it cost me a little time. But I ended up in a different place, which is back at work, back at the office. I was going to work from home today. But so I'm back at the office and maybe I'm supposed to be here today and not work from home. And so look, little adjustments happen because of mistakes we made. But let's take a look at people who have made mistakes in the past. So one of my mentors at Morgan Stanley was a lady named Carla Harris. And she tells a story about how she made a mistake in her business, not in her personal life, but she tells the story about her business life and how she answered a client. She gave a client an answer that she really didn't know the answer to, but she took a guess and she was wrong. And it really could have cost her her job, but it didn't because she had such a good reputation prior to that it just, kind of shook up her world a little bit, but it didn't cost her her job. And so that mistake taught her that she doesn't need to answer any question if she does not know the answer. So she now says, let me find out. That gives her enough time to get the right answer and really keep the rest of her reputation. So how are you dealing with mistakes and setbacks? And maybe if you feel comfortable, put them in the comments if you want to say how you deal with it. Like I just said about mine, I just kind of shifted my perspective and said, well, maybe I'm supposed to be at the office today and not working from home. Or maybe, there's something I need to pay attention to that I wouldn't have paid attention to had I not made this mistake. So I really tried to turn it into a lesson, so to speak, and then like a life shift. So let me know how you shift in your perspective when you make a mistake, and also when you have a setback, because sometimes setbacks can really stop us. It can really pause, and it not just pause, but sometimes keep us from doing what we said we want to do in our lives. And when that happens, you really have to look and say, hey, was that my purpose? Was that where I was supposed to be? But if a setback comes and you don't want to get up and push through it, maybe you're not in the right place. But if a setback comes and you want to push through it, you just don't know how, then these activation videos, going to presidentiallifestyle.com, being a part of the Prosperity Club, all of these are ways to get you to where you're going. Now, my good friend, almost like an aunt client, she's like all of these things wrapped up into one. Maddie, who's on the video right now live, she can tell you some of the setbacks I've had in my life. You just keep pushing through them because they're going to come. And the difference between the people who fail and succeed are that they kept pushing when the setbacks came, and they turned mistakes into, products or lifestyle. Like Hershey, he had 57 recipes before he came up with the chocolate that we know today. If you look at Thomas Edison, he made mistakes before he came up with the light bulb that we know or use today. And think about how many people have grown from just that light bulb. Other people have made light bulbs that come off of the one he originally created. You just look at other people who have made mistakes and how they're pushed through their mistakes. 3M, I heard a story about, I think it's 3M, who makes Post-it notes. So the chemist who came up with the glue on Post-it notes, he was actually looking for a glue that would never release, a glue that would be forever. And in making that, one of his mistakes, he made the Post-it note glue that comes off and on, and it worked. He repurposed it. He came up with another product. So sometimes your mistake you can turn into something different. So see the positive in your mistakes. As usual, daughter of Denise, I always can find the positive, and I'm always going to ask you to find the positive, because the silver lining is there. You just have to look for it. And that is all for today. I hope that was activating for you. Head on over to presidentiallifestyle.com so you can continue to get your 5-minute activation, so you can find out how to join the Prosperity Club and raise your prosperity consciousness and reach your heart's desire. I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a good day.